me know, telling y'all to hit the like button, subscribe to the page, hit the notification bell. This is something that goes on in the league all the time. Now, I remember very vividly what happened when they decided to go ahead and get rid of Donald Sterling. The same sentiments was happening the same way they're looking into Sarver right now. And right now, the chickens are coming home to roost. The Phoenix Suns owner, since he's bought the team from Jerry Colangelo years ago, the NBA has not been favorable with him. After he was vetted and approved. Sarver is a billionaire, ladies and gentlemen. A billionaire who tried to basically extort the taxpayers to pay him hundreds of millions of dollars to keep the team in Phoenix. He's known for being cheap, divisive, and everyone knew this. Now he's being accused of being a racist, a sexist human being. All these things are being developed by unpublished websites, and it's kicking around. Because it kicked around my door, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And I said, well, nobody's published this yet. This is pretty big. Why is this happening? And the reason why it's happening is because the league is tired of him. The league is tired of Sarver, man. They are ready for change. And they don't want this guy sitting in that seat any longer than he has to. This man refuses to give Ayton the max deal. Said, I don't think he's a max player. For years, the Suns were terrible. And they were allowed to be.
I mean, look, problem is.
And we're going to let people tell you what's been going on in Phoenix for years. Listen up.
That we've seen with a lot of owners and their fan bases. It's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out as they continue to deplete their roster while the season progresses.
I mean, Sarver is not the best of owners, first off. And I'm going to say that because I've been in meetings with him in the collective bargaining agreement. And, he rubbed players the wrong way. And so, just dealing with him and the things he said about the franchise, about the team moving or staying if you keep the money, it just rubs people the wrong way. So, why help a guy who, feels this way about the city, the franchise? It's a great city to play in. I mean, you shouldn't want free agents to come there, but because of the ownership there that's in place, you're not having a lot of guys in free agency running there. I'm talking about superstars to come play there. It's not good for the league. If you have those things on your mind, it should be kept in-house. Stuff like this shouldn't go to the public like you want to move the team, because then you lose your fan base.
Well, you've got a lot of young players.
Now, this is years ago, ladies and gentlemen. Years ago. Years ago. And at the town meeting, the people could be heard. And it's very interesting what they said. And I want you to listen to the town's meeting.
Mr. Sarver has done nothing to improve this team in the 14 years he's owned it. He's never funded or bought, paid for 2 or 3 key players, which make any sports team, professional sports team, successful or on the road to success. He's so tight, he squeaks when he walks. And you have been negotiating with this kind of person? Shame on each and all of you. And upon you, Ed, I thought your principles were higher and better than this. We are not in the business of paying taxes to support private enterprise, and especially not an entertainment enterprise.
Entertainment.
They can support themselves or fail on their own lack of diligence.
Boom! Now let that sink in of what just happened. Let that sink in of what she just said. But they cut out the most important part that she said. Let's listen to that.
This is Chicago politics at its worst.
What did she say?
This is Chicago politics at its worst.
Whoa!
This is Chicago politics at its worst.
Oh, she said a very key word there. Chicago politics at its worst. Getting the public to pay for something that's private. Just because she's a granny, just because she might be wrinkled, just because she got gray hair, doesn't mean she's ignorant. That brain is working, and that brain knows things. Chicago built everything up off the city's taxes. Made the poor people pay for the rich people, and they blame the poor people for everything. Chicago politics at its worst. We've seen it happen. And they then brought it to Phoenix. And they're not going to stand for it. The people get to address the public. And the owners and everybody there who gets to vote on these type of things. See, we don't pay attention to that because we too busy doing it for the gram. We don't go to the committees. We don't do all these things. We don't have the time. We got to kick it. Now, Sarver is a guy that nobody really liked as head of the Phoenix Suns. He never spent any money. The team did not turn around until they got Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre Jr. is the guy that turned this franchise around 1 year ago, not Chris Paul. Before, there was no Valley Boys until Kelly Oubre showed up. Then it became the Valley Boys. And look at what he said. I can play for an owner, somebody who actually cares about the organization and not the perception of the organization on the media end of it. It's all about the foundation for me, man. You have a beautiful foundation built here in Oklahoma, in the Bay in San Francisco when he was playing for the Warriors. He brought the energy to Phoenix. They created the Valley Boys, and Kelly Oubre was speaking out against Robert Sawyer, The public loved him. He never wanted to spend the money to bring those guys back. So he was put in a position to turn this team around. This is the Valley Boys. Okay? This is when the Valley Boys started. Not when Chris Paul was there. Chris Paul came into a situation that had already was turning a curve. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. Because I told people before that, they had Baines, they had a lot of people that came here who weren't used to losing a lot. They had people that came to this organization that was expecting victory. Hit the like button, good people. The super chat is working. The Cash App is Carceno, Karceno. Chris Paul was forced to go here. He had no other options. They were the only ones looking for another face, or they risked losing Devin Booker. It was, oh, let Book off the team. Remember all that? Let Devin Booker go talk that was going on. Devin Booker needs to be off the team. Devin Booker needs to go. They need to free Devin Booker. And they were saying all of these things about Book. Everybody from LeBron's side of the camp, because Booker did not sign with Clutch. He has a female agent, and she's good. It's a lot of things about this game y'all don't know, and this might be best that you don't know. But Kelly Oubre Jr. came out and was the first one to really go after him and said, he was trying to be in Phoenix for the rest of his career. That's what he was trying to be. But the organization and the owner didn't see it that way. And you're seeing the same thing happen. He found out he was traded on Twitter after all he brought to the Phoenix Suns. And now, because he's basically told Deandre Ayton, you're not going to get anything. Now there's reports of sexual harassment, racism is all being thrown in his direction. Because he's not doing the right things. He's doing the cheap thing. Something that he's done for 14 years as a Suns owner. Now he's in year 16. He finally got 2 winning seasons when he finally spent some money after they got the new 5G arena. Sarver takes all credit for turning the team around, but didn't take any of the credit for the 14 years of him dismantling these teams. That's Sarver. And Robert Sarver has always been this way. And the league and the players knew it. Hit the like button for that. Hit the like button for that. That man's face right there tells me one thing. He don't like me very much. I'm just going to make an assumption. He don't like me. And he feels there's a certain amount that I should probably be earning. And it's whatever he feels like giving me. That's the kind of look that is right on his face right there. His face then gave it away. His face just told me all of that. Now I'm just perceiving it, but that's what I get looking right at his face. I'm looking at his face. That's the vibe I'm getting coming off his face. I may be wrong. He might be a loving, caring individual about others and other people. But I'm looking right at his face, and to me, his face says something different. Something different is oozing off that face. Now, of course, he denies all of these claims. They're baseless. But so did Donald Sterling for years, right? Then the videotape, the audio tape came out. Then there was nothing he could do. I'm just saying. The league is going to investigate it, and they're not investigating it trying to prove him correct. They want him out. Players didn't want to go to Phoenix. Paul Pierce just told you about it. He's been in those collective bargaining meetings. He was in the union. Pierce was. So he's been in those meetings with him and says he's not a nice guy. He's not a nice person. Nobody likes him. And he can see why players don't want to go there. It was the same thing with the Clippers, right? Now, Chris Paul has struck again. And if you don't know what I mean, here's the situation. Drafted in 2005, Hurricane Katrina, 2005. Traded to the Clippers in 2012. That's when they had the LA River flood. Plus, Donald Sterling. Who was there? Chris Paul. Sterling situation happened. Paul's there. Then he got signed in Houston in 2017. Then came Hurricane Harvey. Traded to Phoenix, and now here we go. Another owner being exposed as being a racist. What is going on with Chris Paul? He got a lot of bad luck following him. Wherever he go, that's what I'm saying. He might need to play with LeBron. Because I know disaster is finna strike. It'd be the earthquake. As soon as we signed Chris Paul, it was the earthquake. And LeBron fell in the crack. They're sending the search team down there. LeBron was going for the game-winning shot, and there was an earthquake, and then there was a crack in the middle of the floor, and he fell right in it. Chris Paul's fine, though. That's right. Hit the like button, good people. The like button is free. Costs you nothing. But see, that's the problem. You see, most people out there, they don't understand the politics of all of it. Like in its totality. People got to realize that in this world today, you have all of these people who their main job is to find a way to finagle the general public. And this guy tried to extort the people of Phoenix. These people are aware of their taxes in Phoenix. You have a lot of older people there, a lot of experienced people that go there to spend their last remaining years. So it's hard to try to finagle them as if they're a bunch of 20, 30-year-old kids that's just got their jobs and they're not paying attention to what's happening with the money. You got a bunch of people paying attention to politics and they're older and this is all they got to do. Most of them are retired. And they will fight you tooth and nail about every cent and every nickel. And you are a private entity. Why are you trying to get money from the public and having the taxpayers buy you a new stadium when you're a private entity and you're a billionaire? That's going to rub people the wrong way. And when that lady came out and told him he's tight, and she brought up it was Chicago politics, now all of these accusations are coming out about Sarver. Now I'm quite sure more is going to come down the road, but none of it's been published yet. Now, all of this happened once he basically said that Ayton is not getting the max. He's not willing to pay the max to Ayton. Greta Rogers. Greta stood up to him and told him what was what. Well, if you want to risk losing Ayton, why did you sign Chris Paul? Because he has this new 5G arena. So he's got this performance center. He's got this new, everything's happening around Phoenix. They go to the finals now. And now the team is about to be disassembled again because he's cheap. It's spreading. Listen, the news has been out for a long time, even though he says he has no interest of selling the team. People ask him to get rid of the team. He says he has no interest in selling. There's zero accuracy to any story, and he's not selling the team. Earl Watson, who's a former NBA player and used to date Joy Taylor, was engaged to Joy. Anyhow, Earl used to coach the Phoenix Suns. And when Earl was the coach, the Suns owner was trying to get him fired for a long time. Did not like the way Earl was running the team, even though he had things going on a certain way. Sarver saw it as something he didn't like because of a simple fact. And the simple fact was he saw the team going in the direction it did not need to go. Is the super chat on? Oh no. They were colliding on the way he was coaching. Sarver likes to make decisions on who should be playing. He wants to make decisions on, okay, don't play this guy this many minutes because I might be trading him. Or I don't need this guy getting hurt. Limit his minutes or production, and try to get this player more involved. I need his stock up because I'm going to try to move him. So he's not thinking of, we got a chance to win here, win some games. He's thinking, okay, I got to have this guy look good so I can move him, probably trade him, get some picks. Instead of having a coach, he got somebody who's basically maintaining the team. That's not why Earl Watson was there. Earl wants to win. So the general manager was told about what was going on, and Sarver didn't like the fact, and neither did the general manager like that Sarver was going behind his back, but Sarver's the owner. And if he told the coach to do something, you don't go to the general manager. I'm his boss. You're getting out of here. And he knew he had a problem right then and there in Earl Watson. Now, the general manager is a person that he actually gave goats to. He had 2 goats in the general manager's room. It was crazy. Now, the NBA got involved and told Sarver, you're not going nowhere. You're staying in Phoenix. This is not the time to be talking about going somewhere. Now, when you're about to lose Deandre Ayton or Ayton, because you don't want to pay him the max, you risk losing that in a Chris Paul era. Now here comes the rumors about sexism, racism, and everything else, and about an investigation coming by the NBA towards Sarver. Do you think this is a coinky-dink? The NBA had all this on you already. Now, Sarver's home, he has a gym, and he has Michael Jordan on his gym. He has a Phoenix Suns court with a picture of Michael Jordan in there. And he lets friends come in there and shoot around. This is Sarver's house, where he has a basketball court. This picture of MJ back there. So, right away, now you got to remember, he was a managing partner before he became full owner. So in all his years of being there before Jerry just sold him the rest of the team and got out, because Jerry was sick of it. He didn't want no parts of it no more. So before that incident happened, he was all over it. It was Jerry's world. And don't forget, the super chat is working. You guys can super chat. And what's happening tonight? The Suns play the Lakers, don't they? All this is coming out. Now, Chris Paul did make the team better. Don't get me wrong. Rubio couldn't have done what Chris Paul did. Rubio's not going to hit those clutch shots down the stretch. Chris Paul's a better shooter than Rubio. Rubio plays at a faster pace. He plays more Euro. Chris is more slow the game down, let things develop type of player. Now, once again, rumors about the owner and all of this nonsense is hanging over their heads. So now it's like, is Deandre Ayton going to be traded? This is going to determine what happens down the road. Now, James Jones is a guy that LeBron James put in position right in Phoenix. So LeBron is in cahoots now with old Sarver. He got his boy Chris Paul over there. Part of clutch, ain't he? James Jones, the general manager, they need some players. They just call up Phoenix. Now, what's going on with Ayton? Now, they said, according to James Jones, he said we didn't have real negotiations. Bill Duffy and Nima, it was a 5-year max. Like any other picks. Former number 1 picks, that's where the conversation started. That's where it ended. Anything less than 5-year max wasn't something they want to be considered. Not something to be talked about. It's evident. They talked about them having a discussion on a 3-year, 4-year max deals. Those are real. So this is all about an extra year. Ayton was looking for 4 years, 3 to 4 year deal. With a supermax? No. So a 5-year max is what they want. The Suns. That's something to talk about. So James Jones is trying to cover for his owner by saying we didn't have real negotiations. Sarver is known to be very cheap and doesn't spend any money. Now he's been spending some money. He got Monty Williams in there to show, hey, I like black people now. But we saw this with Donald Sterling, right? Donald Sterling had Doc Rivers as his coach. He had Chris Paul on the team. They were actually in a good space. The team was actually being successful. Now, if all this is going to be carried over his head all season long, they're going to force him to sell. Eventually, if this doesn't work out. No, definitely hit the like button. Well, you got to think about something. What would you rather be? Or who would you rather be in the situation? Well, you got to think. Who would you rather be in that situation? Well, you're in a situation now where you're going to see a whole different aspect as to what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So Watch, more things are gonna come out. More things will come out later down the road. Well, he has my permission to go after Ben Simmons because Ben Simmons is doing things that allow him to go after Ben Simmons. Now, if it's 20 years later or 15 years later, Ben Simmons is somewhere else and he's still on, remember the time what he did to the 76ers. Oh, don't get me started about Ben Simmons. Now, it'd be like, man, dude's out the league now and you still going at it. You know what I'm saying? Kwame ain't played in years. And he still is talking about Kwame Brown. You know, it was retarded for him to even go down that path. So it's not comparable. Oh, the super chat is working. Well, me, I don't just jump into business like that. It has to be proposals. I have to see things laid out. And then we have a team that decides on what we're going to do. Kwame has his own way of contact. And that's, if you watch his videos, he tell you how to contact. But thank you for the super chat. And like Kwame said, and I have said, you don't need us to do things and get things rolling in your community. You know, it's you can do that on your own. As you see, the Saginaw stem got rolling on its own. Man, the Mavericks are a mess right now. Luka seems to be out of shape again, to me. They seem to have the same problem that they've had last year. Jason Kidd don't seem to have done anything different. Well, they still have a problem. Offensively, they have problems. Because the ball depends too much on Luka to do something. So if Luka's not doing anything, then what are you gonna do then? You got Herter over there, you got Bogdanovich. So you don't have to just worry about Trae Young. They got guys that could put the ball on the floor and create shots. Now, when Brunson get in the game, he could change the element, you know, because they got Bullock out there. And Bullock is a trigger man who could just pull at any time. But Brunson is your inside guy. So that second unit is cool. But defensively is where Jason Kidd wanted to come in and help the team. And they weren't getting a lot of that from Atlanta, who's a team that likes to put the ball on the ground. They still got a problem because they got Porzingis on the team, and he's a liability defensively. His rotations are slow. He's not a shot blocker. He's had way too many knee injuries. Yeah, well, it is what it is. Oh no, I know when I get that Bulls Knicks money, it is on. They better look out because it is on like Pop Cone and Donkey Kong and all the other cones. It is on. Yes, Atlanta is just a better team than Dallas. They have interior play. They have no interior play in Dallas. Zero. No interior players. They got John Collins on the inside who could post up. They got guys who could put the ball on the ground to help them out. All you got really is Luka, and they have an inside-outside game. That's not going to win championships. You're going to have somebody with an inside presence who could post and work in the post and give them another option. Capella could just get alley-oops all night. The game would be over. Ice Trade, the game. Well, it's early. For Luka has time. Atlanta looks poised in that game, but they played Dallas. Now, but the guys seem to know their role. And that's the thing about Nate McMillan. A great coach is something that goes a long way. Wherever he goes, he changes the attitude. The moment he's the coach, that's how you know someone has input on the team. The moment he was head coach, it changed the whole attitude of the team. Guys are more, they're not just out there 5 guys on the court playing wild. They're actually organized. Don't forget to hit the like button, good people. Now it is breaking news.
Robert Sarver.
Team 12's Cameron Cox joins us now with what we need to know. Cam?
Hey guys, yeah, this is not the news Suns fans really thought they'd see this afternoon by any means. A potential massive story involving the owner of the Phoenix Suns. The Suns responding to a story that is in the works right now from ESPN, accusing Sarver of sexual harassment, racism, and sexism. The Suns calling these claims baseless lies and a false narrative to attack the organization and leadership. This all started today from a tweet from former Yahoo Sports NBA reporter Jordan Schultz. Schultz also added, with enough evidence to support the claims, there's a real chance the league would forcibly remove Sarver. Robert Sarver issuing this statement: I'm wholly shocked by some of the allegations portrayed by ESPN about me personally or about the Suns and the Mercury organizations. I can certainly tell you that some of the claims I find completely repugnant and by nature and the character of the Sons of the Mercury in the workplace. And I can tell you they never ever happened. Sarver went on to say, I would like to think that my actions and public record regarding race, gender, or discrimination of any kind over a lifetime in business and community service will adequately answer any questions anyone might raise about my commitment to equality and fairness. This from Suns GM James Jones. None of what's been said describes the Robert Sarver I know, respect, and like. It just doesn't.
What did I tell you? Now it's public. You see? Since I've been live, it wasn't really public. Then I tell you, this has been going on for 2 days. We've had this information for 2 days, and we refuse to act on it. And because we refuse to act on it, here they come. Now everybody's going to be everywhere. Of course, you heard about it an hour ago, because I wasn't going to go and talk until I knew this was a real thing going on. I had to talk to some people. I got to make sure this is a situation you don't want to just go on off because somebody online sent you some information. So I had to talk to people in there. So what you saw in this video early on is information that was 2 years ago. I'm telling you that the league already had this. The reason why this is going down is because Sarver's not doing what he's supposed to be doing as an owner. In their estimation, they're at risk of losing Ayton. They're at risk of losing a whole lot of different things just because he's being cheap. That's what happens when you be cheap and you're being cheap and you're looked at as a cheap person. You get cheap results. Yep. So that's where everybody's at now. So I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys hit the like button. One person super chatted today, so the rest of you probably hit up the Cash App. Carcino's the name on the Cash App. One more again, I'm out.